Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Hamda.
This week is the Keith and the Girl Marathon.
I counted how many guests we're having. 80 guests.
Wow.
80.
Well,
and I look at the spreadsheet and I'm like, who does this? Who books 80 guests? Wait, why is this the tradition that we started? I fucking love it. I love it. I love it. Let the nightmares begin this week. I know I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night going, did I send okay. I don't know what to say. It's been 2 minutes on the marathon.
Yeah. And then I get those nightmares where we separately, we talking to each other. We realize we dreamed this separately. We picture we're dreaming that we're in the actual marathon, and it's the very first minute of the very beginning. And we look at each other and go, I can't think of anything.
I have no idea what to say.
I don't, but how about you say that? I think it's too late. Anyway, I said there'd be over 50 guests. Well, there we are. We're at 80. We'll be live on the Keith and the Girl YouTube channel for 24 hours. Subscribe now. Hit the bell. Do not miss it. This Saturday for 24 hours. Okay?
And by the way, this is not a marathon that you're running in. This is a marathon that we're talking in. It's a marathon show.
Yeah, I'd never do the other one.
No.
Run for a day. Kenda will be giving away guest names and times on your VIP show last week on Keith and the Girl with Bianca. So get Keith and the Girl VIP or miss out. In fact, I use Keith and the Girl VIP myself. I was listening to the first and last time that our guest today had been on. It's episode 1920, 1920. So if you're looking for what to pick and choose and grab from, that is a great one. It's called Live. Live. The V is in parentheses, so you know it's fucking deep. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. Okay, here he is. He's been featured on Fallon, Conan. He has his own half-hour Comedy Central special. In 2014, he had his album For Amusement Only. Fantastic. Loved it. Live commentary is going on by him during his show. What? New album out right now. Just saw it. Disingenuous is the title. Nick Vatterott. Hello, Nick.
Hey, it's funny listening to you all talk about the marathon and getting nervous about coming up with things.
Right.
And it's funny because I feel like the second, like riffing with people on a podcast before the podcast starts, I feel free. And then the second the record hits, I get in that mode. I'm like, what's it? How do words work? How do sentences happen? What do humans talk about? Am I an alien?
Right. And the dream seems so lifelike. But meanwhile, literally just say, I don't know what to talk about. And that'll go somewhere. We've been doing this long enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to have a million guests. So maybe they have something to say.
Right.
Just introduce the guest. Just start. Say anything. And always in actual real life, right before the marathon starts, whoever's next to me, I just turn to them and go, are we really doing this? What would make me think I can stay up for? Okay, let's go.
Do you have nightmares and dreams after it that you're still in the marathon? That
I think the next day or two gets deleted from our memory. Like it's sort of like like Keith, when he was drinking, says he never had a blackout, but there's a blackout that comes with this marathon. Yeah. As soon as the marathon is done, we're like, that was so fun. Remember when, I'm glad we recorded it. I have no idea what just happened, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. And then a lot of times right after the marathon, you think I'm just going to collapse and just, okay, I'm done. Oh, I gotta go. But we end up chatting or staying up. You're like on this high, and you need to consciously come down off of it, or your brain will keep going. It's like on cartoons where they run so fast that they run off the mountain, and then as long as they keep running and don't look down, they're gonna keep running. So once it's time to sleep, I have to actually look down so I could drop.
I think there's an adrenaline from staying up that, for that long. We used to do these,
Coke?
Micah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I stayed up all night and I'm still wired. Must have been something I did that whole time.
Was it the weed? Oh, that's weird.
Do you stay up from weed? Some people go to sleep from weed, and then I guess I guess some people, I smoke weed and I can't go to sleep sometimes.
Really? Well, I smoke it throughout the day. So it no longer like needs to have that effect. If I need to sleep on it, it makes me sleep. If I need to be relaxed on it, it makes me, yeah. That's what pot is. You know, we had a bad name, potheads, but here I am taking the taboo out and going, I own pot now. Okay. that's what it takes. All right. To really commit yourself to this and let you work with pot, not your pot work with your brain.
Wow.
That's my PSA of the day. I'm glad you're getting it. Only Nick would understand that logic right now because Keith, I think, is lost. How are you?
Well, it seems like a class you would have to go to the Joshua Tree for, but I'm not at that level yet.
Classes are 3 weeks long, man, and just come and go as you like. I don't think of. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what were you saying about adrenaline and you used to?
Micah Sherman, you know our friend Micah Sherman, so funny, and he one time he used to work at Improv Asylum up in Boston, I think is the name of the theater. They would do these 24-hour improv marathons, and you know, when it was done, yeah, you're just like when you start. It's that weird like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. and you're sort of up and you're just like, I don't see myself ever going back to bed again. This is my life now.
Yeah.
And you really start to lose your mind after. That's the craziest thing.
That's the thing. I also can't follow my mind as well after like 12 hours or so. And so as guests come in, their reaction is sort of telling me what I'm saying. So I'll start talking. And now because my brain is on like low energy filter, I'm just like saying shit and I'm seeing comedians' eyebrows raised and like them flipping out. And I'm like, I must be saying some shit. I don't know. I'll figure this out later. Somebody let me know, tap me on the shoulder. But for now, I'm just talking. So yeah, YouTube, it's going to be live on YouTube the whole time. It's absolutely free. The chat will be live, so you'll be able to talk to each other. We have 1 million guests and maybe Nick will be available. Let's at the end of the show, tell us if we should invite him by the end of the show.
There you go. Let's see how this goes. Okay?
Do you need 81 people? If you're one person short, if you're suddenly like, we just need 1 more hour.
I had the dream again. Get Nick. I want to make sure we got enough people.
That's you think it's the dream and it's still the actual marathon happening.
Well, it does get crazy at the end, especially. It gets crazy. You know what? It gets crazy in the middle of the night and it gets crazy at the very end. I remember one year at the very end, was Abby Crutchfield was telling me about her that it just said her dog died. And I'm like, okay, all right. Hey, have you guys heard that? She's like, you know what I said?
So all empathy just sort of dissipates at some point.
And I haven't slept all day. Okay. Dogs die.
There was a time where I know I missed something. There were a couple of pretty popular guests on, and they were like, oh, we got this huge guest on our podcast. We're really excited about it. And I realized I didn't catch the name of the guest, and now it's too late. And they're so excited about it. And I'm like, honestly, I probably wouldn't know who that is because I never know who anybody is. So why don't you tell me a story? I don't fucking know anymore. It's 6 a.m.
She's just losing her shit. Does Keith know you? How'd you get here? Like in your album when you're like a now up comedian and the comedian's like blah 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 to the audience doesn't care back. This, by the way, very meta, and there's so many moving parts to this album. First of all, the special, the video, you put this together, I'm assuming. Meaning you put up the money for it, that kind of thing. Does Comedy Dynamics buy it from you there, or is it up to you to put up the money and what comes back is going to come back anyway?
I think they do different deals with different situations. I actually met with them early on and was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And they were like, that is not how you shoot a special. You know, I wanted to go to as many different venues as possible. I always loved those specials where people were running around the city. And I wanted to do something like that, but do like a surreal sort of mockumentary version of it. And they were like, no, we want to shoot at one place. I mean, and it seems like the model now is to like shoot it because a couple different places. Netflix has done this, Comedy Dynamics done this. There's some other place I just saw to do this. They just go to one venue, shoot 9 comics, and then crank out 9 specials. I wanted to do one comic at 9 different venues, and that's the worst way to financially do it. So I went ahead and did it on my own, did it my way, and then they're helping me with the distribution of it, which is great.
This thing is so fun. I started watching it. I had to stop because I know that Xerxes will like this so much that I want to watch it together. And I got to say, that thing where you're like, it's interwoven with stories. You leave the venue at a point. and right. This is stuff, honestly, I'm not always into because I don't think people do it right. I think they just think the funny part is that they're leaving. It's not, this is the joke. It'll be so much better if I actually leave the venue. I think it happens in reverse. And I think that you are the perfect comic to do this. And it was so much fucking fun. When you did leave the venue in the middle, what do you tell the live audience? Are you gone for a while so that they can feel that energy of you not being there? Or are you standing there going like, in this special, I'm not going to be here, blah, blah, blah.
It depends on the venue, so like, you leave a little bit that's a little uncomfortable for a second. There's, you want them to question if I'm coming back. And then because I have a big blow up and I'm looking for somebody and I go out there and I come back in but you know what, the best part, because I've done this bit, whatever, spoiler a little bit, so with this particular bit, I'm looking,
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
He goes, oh, my wonderful, supportive girlfriend, Felicia, I'm going to name her. Felicia, stand up. Please stand up. And then for like a minute, he's like, seriously, stand up. Felicia, stand up. Then he leaves the venue to go look for her. And you see a bunch of stuff there. And then he comes back and he goes, so I just went through a breakup. And
she never showed up.
The best is venues where there's windows where you can see me outside. And those are like the most fun. We didn't have any of those in this, version, but those are the most fun where you can kind of see me go outside and like continue the bit outside and watch me and figure if I'm coming back or not.
Can you if you know you're going to die soon, would you do that bit one last time and then just not come back?
I think I would have to do it for an audience I really hate. I think that would be, I would save it for them to be like, but then make them think I'm definitely coming back. But nice. Yeah.
Is it entrapment if you had like bridal parties free outside and then they come in, you're handing them phones?
It's funny. There was one, I did it at all these like sort of alt-y, sort of venues and stuff. But there was one theater that we weren't able to use because there was a bridal party there. And I would have loved to do it at that particular place for sure.
Is this a bummer with your special that, let's say if you see the copywritten date, when it comes out, for example, I looked at it on my Apple Music and it says, of course, 2021, because it was the end of 20. Is that a bummer? You're like, that's 2022. I think it's older.
Yeah, I don't know. This sort of, it came out like I waited till all of the top 10 specials of the year lists came out and then released it at like 11:59 on 2021. Yeah, the 31st, just to make sure I was not eligible for any of that stuff. Because it would have been nice. I would like to pretend it came out this year so I could possibly get some more talk of buzz, because it does feel like that was so last year. It's like that was a month ago. But yeah, it is interesting watching this going like, God, stuff happened. I shot this thing 4 years ago, and it took like a year, and then we did another set because one other set just wasn't working, and then we did that 3 years ago. Then it took like 2 or 3 years to edit, and fortunately, it all works now still. But it's funny, like, because I've been doing material for this past year that I'm like, if I were to shoot a special now, it would be so dated, real fast.
Yeah, but what's exciting is after 4 years of shooting and editing, you get to be an overnight sensation. So don't forget to charge really little for the download, because, that's modern times.
Yeah, absolutely. I know.
Nick, go ahead. You first. Nothing. I mean it. I will I swear to God, this will go
I
nowhere. First.
I was gonna say, you know, I made the special, and the first thing everyone kept saying is like, you should put it out free on YouTube because that seems to be the big trend right now, and that's. I actually love a lot of the specials people are putting out, but a lot of specials that people put out there's cameras in the room already, and they just hit record and then put it on YouTube, and like
you see the numbers moving on the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, it's got December 15th on the bottom. Yeah, it cuts to them opening presents as kids for some reason. But this thing was it's like a movie. It's like a thing that I took a lot of time and effort to put into. So when people were like, put it on YouTube, I was like, no, it's like
sure,
it's a real
but
thing.
Also these people that say put it on YouTube, do you ever go, oh, is yours on YouTube? What channel are you on?
These people these are people who don't do comedy. Yeah, exactly. They're
right. Things cost things. What are you going to do? This is what he has to, which leads to this, the podcast, Get Rich Nick with Nick Turner and Nick Vatterott.
By the way, I'm drinking a Tab soda today. I don't know if you all saw that Tab was in the news. I wanted to do something sort of.
What did they do? What are they up to? They look up a girl's skirt?
No, is that what sodas are doing now?
I see what everybody's doing, but I'm not caught up with Tab.
Well, me and Nick Turner, we did one episode of Get Rich Nick. Is that Tab was going out of business. So I got the idea of buying as much Tab as possible and hoarding it in hopes to sell it once it spiked, you know, from demand.
Oh, that's so funny because I don't think we ever liked Tab. Are you hoping to sell it on eBay in like 20 years for like when we run out of battery acid and we could use that?
Right. Yeah, hopefully there'll be some medical, you know, like medicine is always, it tastes bad, but it's good for you. So Tab has to be good for you in some, you know.
Like this. Sort of. Okay, here we go. Are you done with your teeth? Aren't they a nuisance? Do you need to brush every day? I have a solution for you.
It's interesting you needed a comedy distributor, but you figured out how to resell Tab.
Right. It is funny. They always put like, you ever see the clickbait? They're always cleaning their toilet with cola. You know?
Yeah, Nick.
But it ruins your teeth. Why are my teeth not as white as my toilet?
Maybe take the hint from the toilet.
It doesn't know where to end, you know?
Right.
If you ever see Tab at a party, you're like, did these people want me here? What's happening?
Yeah. They're either like super hipster or super trailer park. I don't know. I only see Tab when I'm like on a road trip in between cities, and it's some like dollar store that hasn't restocked their shelves since the 80s.
And they're out of business. Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
So here's the selling point, because there was a thing that came out this week. So I did this Tab thing about a year ago because that's when I think like 2019, 2020 is when they stopped selling it.
I like that you're talking about it like you bought stock. Continue.
This is because we were reading about all these pump and dump schemes where people like pump up. Okay, so here's part of our plan. The plan is that okay, so like Tab was going to go out of business, and then there was going to be all these stories about Tab going out of business. All right, so me and Turner decided that we would. Okay, this is one of our stupidest episodes ever, but we decided to I created a bunch of fake Twitter accounts and fake social media accounts, all right? So then we tried to make a viral Tab video. And the video, you can go to Get Rich Nick. I think it's on our Instagram, and the bit is basically going, you can tell how much of a maniac you are by how when you're working, how many tabs you have open. It's me typing on a computer, and then you pan over and there's no computer. It's just tons of Tab soda. And so that's the bit. And we were like, this will be a viral video. And so it actually got a little pickup. People started passing it around. So then we then enter all of our fake social media bots, right? And they started commenting as the thing went viral. Hey, I heard Tab is going out of business. I'm buying a bunch of Tab. Me too. This is what I'm doing. So we tried to artificially create this pump and dump scheme because we had heard that that's what happens. That's what people do with stocks. So they'll start putting out this fake information that the certain pot stock is going to be like the next big thing. So they'll artificially, and then people will start buying it. She'll make the, the stock go up, and then they pull the rug out because it was all BS the whole time. So we wanted to do that, but not soda.
Digital, just with cans of soda.
Yeah, with a bulky, hard to transport.
Afterwards, get this. You can return it and get 5 more cents. Drive that up. How many? Oh my God. This is amazing. Yeah. You guys are a Seinfeld bit.
You're losing money. Yeah, it's such a Seinfeld bit. I ordered. Okay. So first of all, spoiler alert, didn't work. Didn't work at all. Oh,
that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
No worries. I don't know. Like, our audience is smart. So they followed.
Anytime somebody has a Zoom background, I know it didn't work out.
Yeah, the reason I had the Zoom background is you can't see the towers and mountains of Tab Soda behind me and realize that I've really gone all in on this thing. The only like potentially bright spot of the whole deal, because it's so funny. I ordered the box of Tab. I ordered like 12. I think I got like 12 cases or something like that, and the shipping killed me. The shipping added so much money on top of it. Also, two of the cases exploded mid, and then it's funny. Like whatever it is, UPS puts it in these plastic bags, and so there's all these empty cans of Tab in these plastic bags, and I forget what the bag said. Those are worth
more. Retweet.
They should be, and it just said like, we are sorry if it said like, we're sorry if your items were damaged.
In a concept that was stupid. What?
Yeah, it said you got what you deserve. But it was so funny. It was like, if sorry if the items were damaged, and it's just empty cans crunched with soda dripping out of the holes. Like we're hope this doesn't interfere with your. It's like, okay, just throw it away, buddy. You don't have to mail me trash.
But am I out of line to say the 12 boxes is of anything? It's in this to resell. It's not that many.
No. I think we would. Here's what I need. I need for people. So here's the bright light that happened this week.
It's 12 boxes. I'm thinking a case. How many's in a box? Is a box a case?
I'd say here. I got one. They're all within arm's reach, but they're all,
Of course, they're your furniture.
Yeah, you can match them around. They're like little Legos. They're
Is
like,
that 24?
So he needs a case.
This is 12. Well, 12 cans.
Times
so you 12. 24.
So I got like 12 of these, I think, if I remember correctly.
You can't even remember how many you bought. What kind of math is this?
Well, here's the problem.
On in business.
How much was it? How much did you spend?
I did drink. I've drank half of them already, which is part of the problem.
That shows people they're going fast.
All right, 12 times 24 is 288.
Yeah.
So 288. Were you planning on selling it for like $10 a can?
Oh, this is what sucks. Every time I drink one more case, I have to up the price to make all my money back. So I think I have to. At this point, I have to sell them. I have to sell them for $280 a case.
Where are you going to sell them?
Okay, here's the bright spot. This week, there's these people trying to get Tab. This was in the CNN. They're trying to get people to. They're trying to get Coca-Cola to relaunch Tab, because I guess they did it with Surge. I guess they brought back Surge a couple of years ago.
I see.
People
Everybody
are drinking
Surge
all the time. Yeah,
Surge makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
But Tab, it's a different story. So the people who do like Tab really like Tab. Like apparently they all stocked up and they've gone through their whole supply already.
Yeah, so they're going to be dead tomorrow. So you better get those prices ready.
I need a wealthy maniac. I need like a Howard Hughes type eccentric millionaire who loves Tab and is willing and drinks them all up and will buy them for me. So this is what I'm waiting for. If they bring back Tab though, I'm screwed. I'm ruined if they bring back Tab, because
right now you're doing great, but if
you're
you
doing
bring it back,
you have 6 boxes of Tab
and you keep drinking. Why are you drinking Tab?
They're so good. No. At first I drank it because like the box was damaged and I couldn't sell like half a case, and then I got bored and drank another one, and then I opened up another one last night just because I was like, I'm never gonna sell these things. So
he just opens them and leaves them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so what you're saying is you haven't gotten rich yet. So the podcast still stands. That's good.
I will say Turner is he's the closest to have gotten rich. We did do an amazing episode. If you're going to listen to an episode, listen to the Price is Right episode, where the premise of the show is we always interview somebody about a way they've gotten rich or made money. Then we go out and do the thing, do like a field piece, record in the field, and then come back and sort of like wrap everything up. And I think one of the few times it was perfectly executed was my buddy from college went on The Price is Right like 20 years ago, and he won a car, and so
he hasn't worked since.
Yeah,
so that's the lesson.
Really right.
That's rich. That is how rich works.
Yep.
If you have a car and don't have to make payments, you're in the money. So we go to Price is Right, and the secret to Price is Right, if you want to get picked, is have any sort of personality.
Okay.
You know, just be like, because we got in line and like everyone is just like, I'm Dan, I'm from Omaha, I'm here to hack. I want to play the card game, you know. And then Turner gets up and Turner's like, hey, I'm a karaoke DJ from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm here, and he's just like charming and funny. Also, like, I work on the studio lot, so I didn't want to get picked because I was afraid that I would forfeit my right to a prize. So I acted like the most.
I'm sorry. How did you work on the studio lot?
I work over at Real Time, and so
just because you're on the studio period. I see.
Yeah, and they have all that. Like, do you or anyone, friends or family, work and all this thing? So like, so they go ahead. So I acted like the worst person in the. They're like, "Hi, what's your name?" Nick. You know, what do you do? Nothing. Just because I didn't want to get picked. It was pretty fun.
Did you tell Turner that like you had to be so boring so that they would pick you? Like, dude, don't worry, I super bombed it. Yeah, but like you're so cool. Can you take it down a little more? You might be picked over me.
I think it helped him. I think it definitely 100% helped him
to wear the I'm with stupid shirt.
Yeah, because like anyone with any sort of personality compared to
that's cool. So he got picked.
So he got picked.
Excellent.
He got picked, which is amazing. And then so then we but you know, we don't know until it happens. You know, we're in the studio and everything.
Man,
sorry, hold on.
Go see what that is.
Oh my God, we're never gonna know what happened. Did he get the car? Is he rich? Does Nick have to work anymore? Right. I have to call him Turner because we're already talking to Nick. This is so confusing. Tab.
I like how it's like, hey, we have a pro on. And what's your advice? I won on Price is Right. Okay, let me write this down. Price is Right. I'm gonna do that.
I like that he didn't mute. Should we listen in?
Yeah. Let's try to figure out who his girlfriend is now. I'm not sure if it's still Amber Nelson or not.
I'm curious about that. Yeah. Definitely the girlfriend that he was looking for in the special was not named Amber. I feel like he made the name. Yeah.
Right. So we'll see.
It's not like you on your specials. You're like, the current love of my life is this. And now everything will reflect that and it will always remain. Here we go. Ready, everybody? I am certain. Anyway, there's a pandemic.
My specials are a timestamp for sure. I give my dog's name, their ages.
Right.
Do you think they'd be any good at Price is Right, though? Do they know the price of things, but they also have a side scam where they paid for 12 boxes of soda and thought they were going to be rich off that? Right. They really know the price of milk? I don't think they know the world.
I don't know. And it's fun to watch The Price is Right. I haven't watched it in years. My mother used to watch it as like, I think that's how she learned English because it was the only time like she would take a break from her housework, watch The Price is Right like it was a religion. And you know, she'd be yelling at the thing like, what do you mean? Tomatoes are 2 cents when you go to the grocery down the block on a Tuesday at between 4 and 6. And but so I wonder if I would even know. I buy milk every week now. I froth it up for my coffee. Right. Ask me how much milk is. I don't know. I know that it's reasonable. I know when it's at the store, I get the whole milk that's like this is just not anything special. And I think it's $2.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't be good at Price is Right either. She's like, is it double coupon day? You don't go to Food Land, you go to Food Lane. A lot of people don't know that on the Sunday.
Yeah. Growing up, I don't know if people had this experience. My mom knew the price of everything on any given day. Like the meat, she would go separately to the meat store, and also we were kosher and stuff. And because she was a house mom, she had a little bit more time to like, this store has this store has that. And she went to Costco and was like, this is not impressive at all. She's like, you can get this for cheaper. I'm like, what am I going to do? Go all over the place to get cheaper fucking paper towels, $1 less? This is here for me right now. They win.
Double coupons. My mom had triple coupons. You couldn't mess with her at all. Anyway,
I think it died anyway.
Yeah. To conclude the story, they lost on the price of it. Okay.
Well,
what happened? What happened?
Is this your stand-up bit? You just left and you come back and like, I'm in a breakup right now.
He's got to do it with every show.
Right.
What happened? You broke up again?
That was pretty crazy.
Are you okay? Can you share? Or
well,
forget I said or. Can you share? You didn't mute. Does that help?
I don't know. It's sort of weird. It was cops, and it involves a situation involving a neighbor that I don't think that I'm allowed to sort of talk about because it's not my business. But like, it was very weird to have two cops knock on your door.
What was the general question? Is it
murder-based?
Murder,
theft.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, basically a
wrong recycling bin. What happened?
There's a lot of like
somebody bought 14 cases of Power. They got to get to the bottom of
it. There's a lot of Airbnb. So my
and the cops are getting involved in Airbnb.
Yeah, because people get my apartment is turned into a hotel. Okay. And because
not everybody has 5 stars that is coming in. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you say neighbor, you mean neighbor in your apartment building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was a situation, and then I had to like make a call for somebody.
You heard violence.
And like a mental health situation, but then it turned out the person lived here, but we didn't understand that they lived here. And
my name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
When you don't have shoes on and you're walking into other people's apartments, it's safe to. I would assume that you're not. I think it's. Yeah, I think there's a situation with I wouldn't think that person lived here. You know,
if you don't have shoes on,
if you don't have shoes on and you're just walking into people's apartments and you're on drugs, then you would think, and then so we had a situation where something like that happened, and then cops were called, and then it turned out the person did live in the apartment building and they were just disoriented.
Do you get nervous being involved? Like even saying your name to the cop? I'm always like, leave me out of it. Well, we need your name. Well, then I guess this is the end of the fucking case.
Yeah, it is weird. Because like, why do you bail? You don't want to get attached to something that
all of a sudden I'm on their schedule. You know, we're gonna need you to come in for this, and this. No, you got my statement, and then you get maybe one other meat. Choose it carefully.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's always. I dealt a lot with police when I was like a kid. I feel like I've talked about this on your show before.
You have not.
Let's talk about it.
I'm getting in trouble all the time, you know? And so like, I think I got a DWI once. I got caught with weed. I got arrested on New Year's Eve once.
For what? What do you get arrested on? Too much intoxication? You're acting like a jackass?
Giving out fake news. He did the seconds like 2 off.
Right. By the way, we did New Year's Eve this year. We were watching it we had Nashville's feed for some reason, and they were about 15 seconds off from
no. New Year's Eve, you got arrested on the day where cops are like, yeah, they're drunk. Yeah, this party time USA. I get it. New Year's Eve, you stood out so much in this animal time around the world that you got arrested. What happened?
1999. The year you're supposed to party like it's 1999.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring out my witness. Well, he's not around.
The revolution. We were in college at the time. We decided to go down to St. Louis to do this like big thing where you go to a hotel and they have in the conference room they have a band and they have like a champagne fountain and drinks at midnight and all that kind of stuff. And we did this specifically so that we weren't out driving around, right? And so we would go to the big party thing and then we'd walk across the parking lot and go to our hotels.
Very adult, very mature, very responsible. I don't know how they would arrest you for anything. Let's continue.
We were very loud and we were very crazy and we were very
What's crazy?
Running through the hallways and screaming naked? And stuff like that. There might have been some nudity involved.
Sock on the dick or not sock on the dick?
I think sandal on the dick. We didn't have socks, and so we just got like a nice, like a nice open-toed shoe.
Good for you, right? They do. That's how people say you measure, right? From the sole.
Yeah. Where they say the feet match the whatever.
It matches everyone's perfectly. All right, we'll never know.
So this was So they told us they called the cops on us, and I think I have it around. I came across it recently. The report.
But you must have been resisting a little bit because I think what cops do in that thing is like, hey, go to your room. We don't want to hear from you anymore. I know it's New Year's Eve. Like I don't know that. Like, do they really? Is that what they arrested you for, or did you keep going when the cops came?
So we were mad we didn't get a warning. The cops came and said we had to get in our cars and go. And we were like, but we're drunk. We can't drive. And they go, we don't care. And that was sort of the conflict that we were like, and they just kept going. It's like, you guys need to go. And we go, but we can't go. And it's like 20 degrees outside, and everybody we knew was drunk. There's nobody to pick us up. We drove to St. Louis. And we're like, okay. But if we get in the car, you're just going to arrest us. And they're like, you need to get in your car. You need to get out of here. Like, we're drunk. They're like, if you say one more thing, we're going to arrest you. We're like, okay. And we started walking away. And I thought about it again. And I was like, I turned around. I was like, but we're too drunk. So I got roofed.
You idiot. And, he said it. It was the Lord's words. And you turned around anyway.
I never thought about it like that.
You deserve it. They just wanted you out of their face. They didn't even want to arrest you. Go back in time. Don't kill Hitler. Don't turn around.
But what do I do though? I can't.
What do you do? They're telling you what to do. They're gonna walk away as soon as you get in the car. Go to sleep.
Oh, but they were like, they were in our room going, you got to get out of the room. So we went to jail. And the other three of us went to jail, and the other ones go, we'll go, and they just got in their cars and drove drunk away. Which I guess you're right. That's what we should have done. It's so stupid, though. I think. Stupid. But I got arrested for that.
I knew it'd be stupid, and it delivered. Thanks, Nick.
And I had a weed. It was so funny. I had weed in my pocket, my front pocket, but I was handcuffed behind me, and I couldn't get the weed out of my pocket that whole ride to the police station. Yeah, and
did they get you for weed? Also, by the way, kids, if you're listening, weed used to be legal and a big deal, and you could get arrested
to be illegal.
For it.
Illegal. Yeah.
Yes. Did you get it out of your pocket before you got there?
No, they found it, and I got arrested for it. And it was funny. I actually had gotten arrested like a year before that for I think I had weed on me, I had alcohol, possession of a minor or something. And I was up in Macon, Missouri, and so they arrested me then. And then, so I was in St. Louis.
Do you really want to just throw out, I was with a minor and then just keep going? Is that where you want to?
But in my defense, I was also a minor. So I think when you're also a minor, it's okay, right?
Boy, sometimes it's the actual order in which you say things. Okay? I'm getting this storytelling vibe. That's amazing. Have you stopped drinking? Because I see a theme.
Well, this was in my college days. I don't drink like this anymore. Okay. But also, I was just 20 and, going just possession, minor in possession means you're under 21. And it wasn't a Matt Gaetz minor in possession. I think that's a different type of possession of a minor. I was in possession of a minor.
When was the last time you got arrested?
The last time I was arrested, I think it was before I started doing comedy. Once I started doing comedy, I feel like I had like another outlet for debauchery,
That makes sense. All right. So, wow.
We got to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
What do you have to, I'm sorry, we'll go back, but what do you have to do now with the cops? So did they just say, thank you for your time, or you guys in the cahoots now?
They said, you're going to get a call one day. We don't know when, we don't know where, but you'll get a call. When you answer that call. We will ask you for a favor.
Oh, that'd be crazy if your phone rings and it says 911 as the caller ID. Oh no, it's reverse.
When you were gone, we had to guess who you were talking to. So this could
wow.
So this could be awkward to ask you. I just have to update my notes because again, last time we talked was 2014.
Oh, okay.
Are you dating Amber Nelson?
I am not dating Amber Nelson.
Oh.
No, and that's what the cops wanted to. That's partly why the cops were here. They said, "Listen, what happened? We liked you guys. We like her. We like you.
We don't know.
We like you together.
We don't know because we don't gossip. So we have to ask you directly.
Right?
Yeah.
People tell us a lot. Can you guys just gossip? But we like going to the source, and it makes people uncomfortable. Well, since you both got me invested, can you tell me what happened? Did you both ran out of voices for each other?
I think I think we ran out of voices for each other.
There's something there. Yeah,
that was like the basic thing of
you love them.
Yeah, it is always awkward when I know people that are couples and I want to ask, how is so and so?
Right.
And I've and sometimes they're like, she's dead.
Well, we were talking.
She's dead.
When you were,
and they say it like that.
We were talking for a second about how on my albums I really timestamp everything. I say who I'm dating right now. I mention my dogs by name, and then the next album comes around. I'm like, all right, let's catch up here. Okay,
got a divorce.
right.
The new love of my life is.
Yeah, the first joke on my next to last album is called Perforated Love, and it's like I gotta, whenever I write a book or something, I gotta have like two whoever, but that has to be a perforated page if things don't work out, because I'm starting to look a little fucking ridiculous here.
Yeah, I don't. I should throw some more personal stuff into my act to time, because I don't know when anything ever happened. When did I eat those bananas? I have that banana bit.
That's the stuff you're looking up. Are you dating now? We'll go back to the prices, right?
Yeah, no. But that's good. We have one in the back pocket.
If this was a marathon, we'd be okay.
Right.
No, I was, we had a very long relationship, and we had a great, I really enjoyed my time with her, and I have not dated anybody since her, and I will never date anybody ever again. And
that's beautiful.
And I think
so. Then you don't need a timestamp.
This is partially why I would say things like that all the time, and I think that's partially why she said, "Listen, you're a little crazy." No, I haven't dated anybody, and it was I feel
when
like
was the breakup? Just to give us
so we went our own ways about a year before the pandemic happened, and it was funny because I was thinking,
there is no before.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, it's, I know. I love that. I do want to start saying that.
Is that from your TV show?
Station 11. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I feel like after a year, was it? Well, I don't know. It's been a tough couple of years. So the breakup was like in 2018. Okay. And so that was sort of like that was like a tough go for a little bit. You know, you were with someone for so long you love, and now you're by yourself. And
how many years is that total?
That we were together?
Yeah.
It was like 7 years. It was a long relationship.
Do you think? Do you ever think this? Like, then you date somebody else, and you're at 6 years, and you're like, well, I got to make it to 7. Then I'll be a little more comfortable.
Right. But as you get older, you don't have that wiggle room. I don't.
Right.
You're not going to be 80 going, all right, I gotta, you know,
I gotta get 12 years.
Yeah. Cause it keeps going up. I had like a year of like, I kind of like, I got to focus on me for a minute, you know? Mm-hmm. And then after a year, my father passed away when I was like, all right, it's time to get back out there. So then that happened. And I was like, okay, well, now I don't have any feelings about anything. I can't feel anything anymore. So that was like another year of that. And so then I literally was like, Nick, you got to get back out there, man.
Oh, and
you
then
got to go. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh.
I literally like, enough of this sitting around the house all the day, every day, not going to bars, not going to restaurants. You got to be around people.
You didn't time your depression well. That is,
I know.
Yeah, that's a tough choice. Wow, that's really tough. And I think like, you know, it is awkward because we know people who get together and break up, but you guys it made sense to everybody. It's one of those, oh, that made sense. So I think, I don't know if that's like an extra level. Like I think Mike Lawrence and Adina, they're married. They made sense to me. Like they're people who just go.
I'll tell you who doesn't make sense. I have a list. I'm sorry to have heard about your father. Is he Ed, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, and you dedicate the special to him, dedicated to Ed Vatterott. Yeah. You were right about everything.
Yeah.
Wow. That's when you can tell them, right? When they can't shove it in your face.
Yeah, that's part of my therapy of, you know, I also feel like he and I loved each other, butted heads on a lot of things, you know, and realize, I think there's like a natural inclination as for a son and a father to sort of like, you know, I see a lot of people, my sister and my mom, you know, sort of like they love each other so much, but then we'll argue. They get along like perfect. Like I don't know two people that get along better than her and my mom. And then they'll just argue about stupid stuff. And I feel like I had the same thing with my dad when I argue about stupid things, and then realize that he was definitely right about a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of times you just sort of want to. I don't know. It's like, do I genuinely disagree with him on this thing? Or is this me and him just have a certain, you know, natural inclination to want to like have this dynamic where like, I'm going to fight you on this just because that's sort of what we've been doing since I'm a teenager.
And also, they have a record. They have a record of it. They tend to be fucking dead wrong. So let's just start with an assumption that I'm not an idiot.
Right. Also, they tend to be right about the depressing parts about being an adult. So you're just like, can I just get to that part and then get depressed? Relax.
Right.
I remember they said something when I was a kid once where they were like, I was like miserable as a teenager, and they were like, "Oh, these are the best days of your life."
Right.
That was like the worst thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
I go, it goes downhill after this. This is awful.
And there's pills and a razor in the bathroom. Yeah.
I remember my mom one time in the kitchen. She turned to me and she was like, "No one can make you happy but yourself." And I was like, this doesn't seem motivational. This seems like a cautionary tale. Oh my goodness. You're still married. I mean, she was right. That's the thing. We can only make ourselves happy, but it was like on this depression scale, you know, there's two ways to look at that statement.
That's when I found out about comedy, and I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah,
you're making me happy. You know, it's my job to carry it on.
Strangers make me happy. People I'll never see again. I only hang out with for 1 hour.
Now, did Nick win the fucking car or what, Nick?
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah?
Pretty magical. He got called up first. You know, so it was like, dun, 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 you know the song, and right. and they go, Nick Turner, come on down. So he's the first person. We lose our shit. It's just absolutely. I had a shirt on. I tried it because they always try to they make your own shirts. I made a shirt, but I made it with like a white T-shirt and a black magic marker. It was the most. It was the trashiest. I can't remember what it said.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And with a picture of Alex Trebek on it, and
turn them letters, bitch.
I tell you what, you get as much as they've been like automating everything. The fact that Vanna White still has a job is pretty awesome. You know, right. I mean, the fact that they haven't.
She's the only woman that we've known of that is allowed to age. I mean, like slightly, you know, they still wash over it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, she's bigger than the job.
Not to think about, Nick. So he knew. So, you know, we were placing bets while you were snitching on your friends. Yeah. Nick does know the price of milk and eggs, and he got that far.
Yeah, he had to do a so like the first thing that he had to bid on. So he had the showcase where, you know, he's with all the bidders, and he had to bid on racing gloves.
Don't tell us.
No. Racing shoes. That's
racing
what it was.
Shoes. Like,
which is so funny.
I'm racing in a car in shoes, or I'm running down the street.
Car, because it was I think it was like NASCAR week or something.
Let me guess. Okay, so Keith and I are both gonna guess like we're contestants.
Okay.
Keith, do you want to go first?
No,
you drew wrong, so you gotta go first.
Oh, I have to go first now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was one of the questions. $349.
Okay, and I'm gonna bet $1.
I believe. I think they were around $400. I mean, these were nice racing gloves. I think. They were like,
you didn't say nice racing shoes.
Yeah, I'm
say
sorry.
That. I mean, I didn't get their Vanna White to go like, look how nice these shoes are. I thought they were $1. Okay, so he guessed right.
Yes. By the way, racing shoes is such a funny. Like I can picture racing gloves. I'm sure they got some grip on it. I don't know what the shoe. Wait, right? Like I would have gotten here faster if I had my driving shoes on.
So what am I gonna do with NASCAR driving shoes anyway? I wanted the fucking dinette set.
From a person who used to drive a car with like 6-inch platforms, shoes matter a little bit.
Yeah, those are the two choices, Henda. You're right. So he gets on stage. Does he hug and kiss the host?
Yeah. They hit it off smashing.
Okay, good.
And
who's the host at the time? I don't know.
Drew Carey.
So it was another comic. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, and
too late though. Drew was gonna have Nick open for him, but he said he's a karaoke DJ, so that's not going anywhere. He's just a fucking liar.
He's just caught in these lies.
Yeah,
I'll get the emo guy. The emo guy. You do comedy. Okay, so he gets put up. He gets called up. He gets And by the way, Drew's funny. He's great. You know, he does like whenever there's like a mess up or something, they have to like stall for time. He does crowd work. He's hilarious.
He can do it. He can do it. Good.
Total
Don't
pro.
take this away from Nick Turner. Let's focus.
He's got to do the dice game. This is the game where there's so it's like, all right, and if you win, you get to win a new car. So it's ba-da-ba-da. And so then they have the dice game. And the way this game works is you roll a dice, and then you have to guess if your number that you roll is higher or lower than that slot in the price for the car. So it's
that's
like
so hard.
It's hard unless you roll a 6 or a 1. Then you can assume it's higher than a 1, lower than a 6. And he rolls pretty much like high, low numbers the whole time. There was only one number that he rolled like a 4, and he into like that was the game came down to basically guessing if it was higher or lower than 4. And
were you losing your mind the whole time, like higher, lower?
Right? Yeah.
Were you doing that?
Screaming? Yeah, because I'm trying to get some camera time. try to get some, try to get some, what do they call it? Material. What do they call internet material? What's that called? Content.
So that you could say in your notes, like, wrote for Bill Maher, Price is Right.
Right.
Plus, you took so much care with that T-shirt. You wanted to get some airtime.
God, I wish I think the pot is rotted my brain. I can't remember what I wrote on the T-shirt, but I remember like seeing it on TV and being like, well, that doesn't play. That doesn't read like anything. I just look like a guy who couldn't afford clothes, who literally came there to win some shirts. So he guesses the right number and he wins a new car. It comes down to that, and it's pretty amazing. I feel like I could have told that story with more of a climax, but well,
did he keep the car or did he take the cash instead?
So here's the thing. I think that's like a misnomer because like they, the thing with like Ford is that their sponsor, they want to get their car out on the road for people to see it. They give away the car. They don't give away the money. And Turner was furious about this because Turner wanted the money. He didn't need a car. So he's
trying to sell the car right after the show to people filing out.
Immediately. So there's like a funny thing that happens. So the only downside of this is that everything exciting happened immediately, and so then after that he's gone because he's the first person to get called up, first person to win a bid, and first person to play a game. And then they whisk him
to win the record. He obviously lost.
He did not get. He spun the wheel and did not.
No showdown.
Yeah, and it's funny because he wanted to do a bit where he did understand and thought that he won. So he spins the wheel. So there's a lady who, has like the highest 80 cents or whatever. And then he does it. And then on his second wheel, he obviously loses, but he starts cheering and jumping like he won. And then he's like, Drew's like, sorry, and says bye. And he goes over to the girl and the girl goes, oh, wait, did he win? And Drew goes, no, he was just doing a bit. Like he knew that he's like, this guy's just a turd,
I thought they would maybe make him do it over, because they just want whatever.
Right.
But that's cool.
Yeah. I think they did a fast cutaway or something like that. So unfortunately, he didn't win that. But then I'm sitting there by myself for the rest of the time, and then there's this weird thing that happened where like after the show, like I almost got in a fight with the people who were in my row because they like we were walking out, and then the guy next to me just started. So it was me, and then Turner's next to me, and then there was a family of 3 people right next to Turner. And then on a parking lot, like walking out to get our, I don't know, we have to turn in badges, or I forget what we had to do. They start like talking mad shit about Turner, going, I can't believe that. And they start using a slur that people use when they're mad at people, and I'm walking right next to them.
What letter are we talking here?
The gay slur, and they kept saying it over and over, and it just got on my nerves. It just got so on my nerves, and I just kind of looked at the guy. And then he saw me looking at him, and then I realized he must have been saying it knowing I was his friend and hoping that I would say or do something. And then he wanted to fight me because I looked at him. And then I'm like, I can't, this is even worse than, the only thing worse than like winning a prize on the lot is if I get in a fight. And by the way, there's security guards everywhere except for when someone's trying to beat you up after The Price is Right. It's The Price is Right. We were all just at The Price is Right. It's the most fun, joyous thing. People are dancing and singing, and it's such joy. And for these people to be like so awful afterwards, it was hilarious.
What was the indication that he wanted to fight? Was it verbal, or was he getting a little?
Yeah, and his girlfriend started pulling him back, and his mom started pulling him back, and I think he said, "Do you want to fight?" I think at one point, it was pretty aggressive.
Was he upset that the other? By the way, do you and Turner call each other by last names so no one gets confused? Like, why are you talking to yourself?
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, were they
I'm
upset
just so
that he was
sick of the name Nick. I've had it my whole life. I want to say new things.
I think it's comedians think that their job is just as important as, let's say, a lawyer, doctor, and lawyers call each other by last name, detectives, shit like that. It's like, hey, I was out there with Soder and Turner,
Right.
fucking Vatterott. Fucking hard out there. Okay, we got arrested. Of course, Vatterott was there. You know, he's the bad Nick.
Well, let me ask you this, funny man Vatterott. When are they upset that Nick was making a mockery of it by pretending that he won, or
no, they were mad he won
to him? And that was it.
I just they were mad it wasn't them, and I don't know why he picked. I guess because it was so close to them that they were like, it almost was us. It was one seat away from us. It's like, no, your personality sucks. Like, you're like the worst guy in the world. Thank goodness you weren't like called up there.
It's so interesting because I really didn't know what slur you were talking about, because here's a white guy. I'm like, what are they going to say? And then I forgot, if you don't have an ethnicity, then you're gay when I want to make fun of you. If you're from, you know, certain parts where they're very not in the know about what's real.
Yeah, it's such a low common denominator. Yeah, I wish there was another word to say that word. That's not the word. That's not slur, because slur feels like it's other words. And I'm not trying to say it's other words. I'm trying to say it's the specific
You're
words.
censoring yourself about their non-censorship. There's a lot going on in your head.
I know.
When by the way, rating for Bill Maher, when he trends, let's say once a month, and that means, you know, people want to cancel him, whatever that means.
Right.
Does it make you nervous, or is it, we're trending again?
I stopped looking a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, isn't that when you guys get just more popular? Canceling means you for sure have a job somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'm open to like criticism or you know, or differencing opinions and stuff. I stopped, which I think is good. You know, I don't, you know,
what the fuck are you doing over there?
Well, I get mad when the Twitter when it's trending over something we didn't say, or something that was like a completely misrepresentation of like, you know, a joke we made or something like that. And I'm just like, oh, these people didn't even watch the show, and they're saying and it's like, that's the stuff where I was like, I can't even like be on Twitter or, you know, check. Right. So that's yeah. I mean, yeah, as long as I have a job, we're not canceled, you know?
Is that how it works?
I think that's how canceling works.
What do you work on? Is it everything? Is it the opening monologue?
Yeah, we do everything. I mean, we write the monologue jokes, the you know, the desk piece, the new rules, and then the editorial at the end. But then also we write like questions for guests. We do research for the topics that we you know, are discussing on the panel, takes on different, you know, discussions, and it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. You know, it felt like school. I was like, oh, if I worked like this when I was in school, I would have like finished school. Cause it's like every week I have to like, you know, research a term paper and do all this, like, you know, figure out both sides of the Russia-Ukraine conflict and NATO's role in it, and some takes on it, and some differencing, and then a counter to my own take, and a counter to my own take, and maybe if I can find some jokes inside of there, that was helpful too.
So you basically realized if you do work, shit happens. Like,
right.
Like, yeah, oh, if I do the thing that this leader who has been put in my life, whether it be a boss or a teacher, told me to do, then I will gain X, Y, and Z. Turns out that's true.
It's the comedian as the you're your own boss is like, because I'm just too. Like, sometimes I'm like, I work for me, and sometimes I'm like, I don't think this guy knows what he's doing. You know, like, I think my boss has no idea, you know, and as a boss, I'm like, I think this guy's a lazy piece of shit, you know? I mean, but I give myself too many breaks, you know? I'm too cool of a boss. No, it's definitely like when you have other people relying on you, it definitely like, and I don't know why a teacher wasn't that person for me, but I think it's when I'm more invested. If I could write a geology paper with jokes peppered in, then maybe that would have been, you know, more interesting to me.
What makes you, when you're watching the show being recorded, when you're watching it, what makes you go more? Is it if he happens to blow a joke that you wrote, or he says something like, but the Quran's the worst one, we can all agree? What makes you go more?
I mean, joke wise, I mean, he's a pro,
Right.
I mean, like, and once I give him the joke, it's up to him to do however he does it. I think, there's sometimes I think there's a take that I see this as, this is what we're going to get attacked for this week, even if it's like, sometimes it's not even something I like disagree with. I'm just saying like, because it's interesting, like being in a room for a week, like we really like talk over these conversations. And I think sometimes stuff comes out on the show that I don't think like accurately reflects the conversation that we had all week. So I know where he's coming from, but I don't sometimes think that in the soundbite that came out on the show accurately represents everybody's input in sort of the conclusion he came to. And I feel, and I go, ooh, that's going to be taken out of context and used. I think that's
because it sounds like it's because he said it out of context.
It definitely, I guess so. Yeah. Because it's a week of context. You can't put all that context into,
what are you, writers?
Five minutes.
What we gotta do?
The hell? What are you summarizing? Teach.
Right.
I wrote in conclusion, context clues. We're done.
Well, it is so. I mean, because I'm trying to think of a good example, but like, I mean, for instance, like, criticizing the animal, the farms, the farms or whatever they're called, in China, the markets, the animal cruelty that happens out there, so we have this whole like conversation, and then it comes out on the show as sort of specific to China when really it was a criticism. He's always criticized animal cruelty all over the world, and in America he's gone after them a bunch of times, and he's a big PETA guy, but then that doesn't come out on the show. Sometimes people are like, how come he doesn't care about when it happens in America? It's like, but he does. We talked about it for an hour on Wednesday. But that context didn't come out of the show.
What if you have the scrolling words on the bottom of the screen that gives us the other information that you talked about in the behind the scenes, or just know he's a big fan of PETA. It's not necessarily an anti-Chinese COVID joke.
Right.
And
on Amazon Prime, at least on my iPad when I watch on planes, you can like click. There's scenes and there's little bubbles, and you can click like a fun fact about this scene or something about that actor. I think that would be a fun interactive thing on the show.
And it sounds like goes, he doesn't mean it, and I'm like,
whatever you think, it's not that.
He misunderstood his writers.
He's trying to piss you off. You were too much on the internet yesterday. Okay, all right.
Poop. Fun fact. He's been a member of PETA for 5 years. Neither here nor there. Continue.
It comes up after everything. It's always PETA.
Speaking of COVID,
just have like a thing banner above him that just says, "I promise, good guy," right here.
This one discussed us too.
Well intentioned, and go.
I was going to say on Friday we talked about Joe Rogan versus, and I wouldn't even say versus, right? I would say Neil Young versus Joe Rogan, saying, take my music off Spotify or take Joe Rogan's podcast off Spotify. You can't have both. And they said, thank you. Let us know when you want to come back.
We regret that Neil Young is taking his category out. This has nothing. He's just randomly, hey, it's Tuesday. He's taking down his category, but we're welcoming him whenever he wants.
It was, and who was the other one?
We have Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Barry Manilow. Oh, not Barry Manilow. I mean, some people are just jumping in like, and me too. Like, okay,
I have a new album out. You can not see my new album on Spotify. And
Peter Frampton, big one, Dave Grohl saying he's taking off Foo Fighters.
So,
and I'm also reading there's more. Nickelback is threatening to upload more music on Spotify. Can this be much?
I love it.
And so they took off Neil Young, and Neil Young said, hey, look, private companies have the right to choose what they profit from, just as I choose not to have my music support a platform that disseminates harmful information. Mm-hmm. This past week, Spotify lost $4 billion in market value. Now, I don't know what that means with this fake money. You're guessing how much Spotify is worth, and it's worth, in your made up head, 4 billion less. That's still enough to make somebody shit their pants over there. You can't laugh that off. That's a big deal.
What I'm thinking is, because that's tough, right? But what if the negotiation is we update the terms of like what you can say, that you can't spread misinformation. But I don't, I wonder if these artists would come back if Spotify just said, hey, Joe Rogan can be on, everybody can be on, but you can't spread misinformation. A lot of platforms do that. They'll take you down. They have bots that will, write the right on Twitter. They'll be like this, for real information about COVID or whatever, when people are off by what they're saying. Right. So maybe
imagine there's so much misinformation that we know about, period, that you're beyond. And Neil Young says this. Right. We all know it's all misinformation, right?
But what about this? Do you guys think that I'm giving Rogan a little too much credit? I'm thinking he's seeing these people that I think he respects all of these artists. He had Neil Young on his show, I believe, and possibly Dave Grohl. Who knows? But it seems to be
either of that is true. But continue.
I think Neil Young. But
he did say he's a huge Neil Young fan.
Yeah. So I think these are people that he respects enough. I wonder if he would rethink and react a little differently. Like maybe this will wake him up to some information. He has listened to people in the past. He has changed his mind, I think, about things. Yeah. Am I giving him too much credit?
Well, I didn't see the full response yet. From a little bit that I read, it does seem that he said that he doesn't do a lot of research before, and this will make him start doing more research before.
I like how Keith is being very patient because he has the answer, and I'm just guessing. But I wanted to see my thought process before I get the spoiler. But go ahead, Keith.
Sure. By the way, also Spotify stock lost almost 25% of its value.
Wow, that's huge.
But it spiked this morning, though.
Oh, good. Maybe it's after his recent video that I'll talk about that you were mentioning. Spotify said in a statement, as you're typing, that it had removed more than 20,000 podcast episodes related to COVID in general. Mm-hmm. Of different. So they do. So if people are saying, "Oh, this is censoring," you can go that simple stupidity. They're doing it. They have no problem doing it. They did it to 20,000 podcasts they thought were too much. In this video that Nick is referring to, I did see it, and he says,
"Who Rogan says?"
Rogan says the information that keeps changing. If at one time I told you that cloth masks don't help, you need the good masks, you would have drummed me out of town. If I said, hey, at one time, the vaccine, you can still get it and transmit the virus, you would have ran me out of town. Things change. Maybe horse paste will one up the vaccine. We don't know, So
for this one, you have to stay ahead of it, Rogan. I'm sorry. This one is a little different than, what if MMA started their morning, the players started their morning with these greens instead of those greens? This is important.
Well, then he ended up saying after maybe what I can do, he said,
maybe
I can, after I have a controversial, shocking person on, I can have and I forget how he said it, but he's saying I can have a normal person on. I think I can do that. My point is this money is important, and Joe definitely got it talking to.
Okay, but I don't. The retractions in newspapers don't work. The correcting yourself after doesn't work. What if isn't there a guy with him the whole time looking up facts as he asks the questions?
Googling like anything else,
Yeah, but he's looking stuff up like if
look
he
up
has a
Bigfoot.
reference.
Look up Bigfoot. Bigfoot showed up. Okay.
All right.
People swear by it. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I listened to that Robert Malone interview. It's a 3-hour interview, and there is some fact checking during that interview that he could have asked his fact checker to look up, but it didn't feel like it. I understand that Joe's trying to sort of highlight a certain narrative that he feels is being presented, and that anything that conflicts with that is he doesn't feel is being represented. But then if that's the case, then he can't do the same thing, but on the other side. I feel like he's sort of like, he kind of has this other narrative, and if something doesn't support him, if everything supports what he's saying, then he doesn't fact check it. And I feel like that Robert Malone interview had a lot of stuff. And then I think he wound up quoting something from Malone on a later episode and got fact-checked live and then was corrected. And then it was like, see, that needed to happen during the Malone interview, not this thing. And, it's, a lot of people are saying, Neil Young is in Jody Mitchell, all these people, well, I guess they're against free speech. But the thing is, it's like, okay, all right, you can say that, but because they did this, you can agree or disagree with Neil Young pulling all of this catalog out, but because they did this, it made Joe Rogan have this video and say, I'm going to try to do a better job. It made this new thing happen after that Spotify is going to do. They try to link to, better information or whatever it is.
There's going to be some kind of advisory. I don't know where you would see it. Some kind of advisory when you download one of these podcasts. That will send you to a COVID-19 information hub. The hub will include easy access to data-driven facts.
Sure, yeah.
Information is shared by scientists, physicians, academics, and public health authorities around the world, as well as links to trusted sources. Yeah, it sounds like it'll just be the CDC stuff. Let's see. We take on the position of being we don't want it to be a content censor, but we will be making sure that these rules are in place.
Okay,
so
now
some kind of link.
Part of this, the bad thing about this is people are like, oh, this is not free speech. I think that's a misunderstanding. That's misinformation. Free speech is not, you can say anything you want at any time. That's not free speech. Free speech cannot be threatening. You can't threaten someone. That person, Nick, that you were talking to when you were leaving Price is Right, he didn't put his hands on you. Right. He was just free speeching himself, but you felt threatened, and he was being derogatory, and you can't say anything you want at any place at any time. That is not free speech.
I think I mean it's the fire in the theater thing they talk about. It's like, if you're telling people, I mean, this is like the big debate right now with like people getting kicked off Twitter. I mean, because this isn't just about the vaccine. This is like election stuff too. Like, it's not free speech to, or at least, like going by what you're saying right now, like people are using this free speech defense to like say the election was stolen and that we have a wrong president elected. And it's like, that's just so harmful. To society, to like sort of like to hide behind free speech to say these like completely inaccurate things.
And once a phrase is popular called alternative facts, I guess all bets are out the door anyway.
Right. But that's my truth.
Right. And people love to think they love to argue too. Free speech, to see the other side. Then I can compare nobody likes to argue. And you're wasting time with a lot of these debates. Let's do creationism versus evolution. Like, okay, but shouldn't we be fixing a bridge or something?
Yeah. I also like, I get annoyed because I read all these things that people are saying. Man. Yeah. I got out of Facebook because of that, of exactly what you're saying about like, it's free speech for me to say, and then just lies. Like, I can't just call somebody a pedophile and say it's free speech and be like, you're a pedophile. I saw you being a pedophile. I'm going to let you work. No, you're a pedophile. Free speech, man. It's like, I don't think you can't just lie. I don't think, and I feel like there's like a debate right now is like, can you lie? Is lying under free speech? I don't know. I guess this is where the big tech companies come in and they're like, well, we aren't upholden to any sort of interpretation of the Constitution. We're a store and we decide what happens inside of our store, and we are deciding that you can't just lie, and that's okay.
But it seems to have worked. Long story short, the Neil Young and all this have worked a little bit. It seems it definitely. You don't do that video without a talking to. I mean, there was a talking to, so we'll see.
It's sort of the same defense of like, when there's rioting and stuff. It's like, well, nobody wants rioting, and rioting isn't good, but conversations happen because of the rioting. Certain changes happen because of the rioting. I wish they wouldn't happen. I wish you don't need rioting for it to happen. I wish Neil Young doesn't have to threaten his catalog out to make this conversation happen. By the way, Neil Young Also, misinformation. He said that he was a lot like that old man, and I don't have any evidence.
That's true. That's true too.
That he was a lot like you.
What's funny? Somebody told me that Joe Rogan goes, and I love Joni Mitchell, and names a song that she didn't do. That'd be funny if it was a thing. Who the fuck's listening to Joni Mitchell? No offense.
Misinformation. He's just keeping on brand.
Right. I do wish the only thing I do wish though is that, like, again, that 3-hour Robert Malone episode was so infuriating, because he does say some things that I think are true that people don't talk about, but there was so much other stuff that I was like, I paused it. I would spend 20 minutes like looking up the stuff. It's like, yeah, this is completely out of context. This is bad information. This is wrong information. And when I would read,
sorry, is this all COVID talk or what?
All COVID talk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would all vaccine stuff. Okay. And I wish when I would read articles about the people criticizing him, I wish they would talk specifically about what he's getting wrong. Because oftentimes it's like this generic sort of he's wrong. And I was
well, they can't fit all of that in the title and no one's reading the article. So that's difficult.
And it must also be tough too. Like, I mean, I don't think these journalists get paid enough for it, quite frankly, because you would really have to get me to be fucking disciplined and sit down and write these points instead of just going nuts. It's, we're talking about this on the show that Nick was on before, but it was talking about Woody Allen and, people making up that he didn't do this stuff so they can watch the movies. And it gets to a point where it's like, I can't go through the list of facts anymore because this is so fucking stupid. Creationism and evolution. I'm really supposed to debate. This is the dumbest headline. You're an idiot. Body. You're a idiot. You win, I guess. I don't know who has the discipline to do that, but I understand why it's not being done.
Yeah. You have to. You have to really search. I did find there was these two girls that work at some sort of like something in virology or something, and they did something on Instagram where it's like you can go through and they break down the biggest points that Malone makes, and it's a great break and takedown of like why the vaccine doesn't. Isn't bad for what was it? One of the things.
Wow, here's the thing, you just directed them to go viral. That was crystal clear.
I also don't read that as it is. I don't want to read about things that aren't.
I already read the Bible. Fuck. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I love when somebody tells me it was full of shit. I'm like, good. I don't have to bother with anything. I'm not bothering with the paper saying it's full of shit. It's full of shit. The end. Goodbye. I just say half an hour easily. All right. Here's what you want to do. Let's get serious.
All right.
Nick Vatterott. You can go to his .com, nickvatterott.com. By the way, click on tour dates. It's funny. The Twitter and Instagram is the same. It's his name, Nick Vatterott as well. Okay, Vatterott. And the special, of course, is called Disingenuous. Obviously, like we said, see it instead of hearing it. Get a little more out of it, I think. And Nick, thank you. Good to see you again.
Oh, it was great. It was great hanging with you all. And,
that's it. Don't forget the marathon is this week, the 5th. I'm looking at my calendar right now. The 5th, Saturday. Go to our YouTube page. Hit subscribe right now. Hit the bell. Thank you. Nick, please.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You can see Disingenuous on Amazon Prime, but you have listeners all over the world, right? Mm-hmm. Vimeo, if you're all over the world.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to do Amazon Prime in all different languages. Yes, it's on Vimeo as well, you're saying?
Yeah. And then if 80 people cancel on you for your marathon, let me know, and I will do a 36-hour long haul.
That's sweet. Thank you.
I'm in. I'm 100% in.
And it's good to have that in our back pocket.